The advent of spiritualism.
A word so familiar to us now, so strange in the ears of humanity only a score of years ago. 23 years ago, the views of nearly all of us that are here present received a shock more powerful and radical than any that for many past centuries has agitated the mind of man. Let us recall, if we can, how vague, how imperfect, how desolating were the best and more faithful views of spiritual existence which any amongst us cherished. Who could determine that the form laid away in the grave was but the casket of the brighter and more glorious man within who could not perish? Who could determine, even if he believed that if a man die he shall life again, to what unknown and distant realms that spirit was bound? Who could resolve that the great agony of bereavement would ever again be gladdened by the great joy of reunion? Who could satisfy himself that the efforts he had poured out upon mankind, sometimes so fruitlessly, so hopelessly, with so little of worldly success, should ever meet or greet him on the further shore? What spirit was, how spirit lived, if at all, under what conditions life was continued, if at all I speak to you with the experience of one who earnestly and faithfully tried to discover the road, could only be answered by faith in the credence of our fathers, and nothing more than a faint traditionary belief, nothing more than a hope, or, at least, an intellectual form of belief inherited by the Son from the Father. The revelations which were brought to us from the time when, 20 years ago, spirits openly and by a series of material phenomena, demonstrated their presence amongst men, proving the identity of the workers with spirits of men that had once lived on earth, in a great variety of places and under every conceivable variety of circumstance, they flooded the world with testimony against its will unsought, uncourted, uninvoked. Without any of the ordinary precedents under which humanity moves towards a great reform, spiritualism poured itself in a mass of irresistible power, in tides of unquenchable light, upon the unyielding yet unresisting world. We were unyielding because we had no evidence whatsoever that there was a power to whom we ought to yield. We were unresisting, for that power took us captive, left us no means of resistance. And so it becomes us from time to time, in numbering up the footprints we have made, to recall the source, to consider the authority that the spirits present to us, that we may the better move forward either to resistance or obedience to this mighty and masterful control.